Hello, everyone. Dave Blum here with Dr. Clue. Who have we got here? We're going to be going live in about, a little while here. Hello, everyone. Dave Blum here with Dr. Clue. Who have we? We had a little echo there. That was fun. We'll need to do that. So I'm just plugging in my computer. Let's see who we've got at the moment. It looks like we have one viewer, which is probably me. No problem. So, hey everyone, this is my office. I'm just going to give you a little introduction. You can see behind me there is a wonderful Dr. Clue story. Just going to give me a little view of my office. I'm coming to you from beautiful, let's pump this up a little bit, coming to you from beautiful San Francisco, California in the Bay Area. And as you come in, it'd be great if you could please introduce yourself in the chat box below. So we're a little bit early. We're not coming on until 10 o'clock, but I am here to welcome you and greet you. This is Dave Blum. And if you are here for the webinar, How to Create a Team Building Event That Everyone Will Love and Which Won't Break Your Budget, you're in the right place. Right? You're definitely in the right place. And we're going to have a great talk today about a very informal conversation. I'm an informal guy. We'll be talking about how to create team building events, how to ensure that it meets people's needs. It's the right program for the right people. And that's what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to this. This is my second webinar. I did this webinar last week, and it was had some technical difficulties. I think I've worked them out today. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but we shall see. We're expecting a good audience today. And again, this is Dave Blum from Dr. Clue. Dr. Clue Treasure Hunts. It's a company I started 20 years ago. Coming to you from beautiful San Francisco, California. Actually, I'm about an hour north of there. So we will begin shortly. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box below, the Facebook chat box below. That's where I'll be determining if people are indeed coming on. And we don't have anyone on there yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So again, if you are here, we are at How to Create a Team Building Event That Everyone Will Love and Which Won't Break Your Budget. If that is the webinar that you are looking for today, you are in the right place. All right. I'll be going back and forth and shuffling because I'm doing this live-a-rooney, which is a trip for me. So again, this is Dave Blum with Dr. Clue, and the webinar today is How to Create a Team Building Event That Everyone Will Love and Which Won't Break Your Budget. I'm Dave Blum and the president of Dr. Clue, and we will begin shortly. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box below. There is a delay of about 30 seconds between the time you write and the time that I see it. So if you have a little delay, you know what's going on, right? It'll take me a couple of minutes to get back to you. But we are going to be talking today about how amazing team building events are, how you can put one together so it meets everyone's needs and is engaging and is just the right fit for people. And I'll be sharing you some tips on how I do it, and I've been doing it for about 20 years. So we've got, about 3 minutes. We are already live. If you are not seeing me or if you're not hearing me, you please do write a message in the chat box below, the Facebook chat box below, so that we have this going on. But actually we've got about 3 or 4 minutes before we go live. I'm sure people are coming in right on. Whether we have one person or 100 people, I will be talking, and when people come on, you can just join in and I will give a summary. Again, Dave Blum here with Dr. Clue Treasure Hunts and more. And if you are looking for the webinar, How to Create a Team Building Event That Everyone Will Love and Which Won't Break Your Budget, you're in the right place. That's what we're going to be talking about today as I come to you from my beautiful office here in Windsor, California, about an hour north of San Francisco. It's about 65 or 70 degrees today. It's a beautiful day, and it's a great day for webinars. And I'm really excited about doing this. I'm tempted to put this in Facebook too, but I don't think I want to mess things up. Next time. I could. I wonder if I could do that. It's an interesting idea. Maybe. Let's try it. There's no one here yet. It's an interesting concept. That's not how I want to do it. Hello, everyone. Dave Blum here with Dr. Clue Treasure Hunts and more. And we are here for a webinar on how to create a team building event that everyone will love and which won't break the budget. Right? If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place for sure. I am trying to figure out how to get this posted over here, which would be an amazing thing. I'm just going to give it a shot. And this is Dave Blum with for Dr. Clue. We're going to be starting our webinar in about a minute. I'm going to attempt to post this as a link and see what happens. No, it's not going to work. Oh, what a shame. No, it's not going to work. All right, folks, it's 9:59. We're about a minute away from starting. I hope we have some viewers coming in, and I'm sure we will. Just so you know. As you come in, if you could introduce yourself. We have a comment box down below my video. And if you could just introduce yourself, your name and where you're from, that would be great. My name is Dave Blum, and today's webinar is how to create a team building event that everyone will love. You know, I still can do this if I wanted to. We are still looking for a few more people, so we're going to hang out for another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to get started. How to create a team building event that everyone will love. I'm wondering if I can post this in here. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's the top of the hour. Let's get going. All right, let's see what's going on. And we are going to launch this broadcast. All right. So, hi, welcome. My name is Dave Blum, and I am the owner and founder of Dr. Clue Treasure Hunts. And we are a team building company that operates all across the country, all across the world, using puzzles as a way of building relationships, trust, and productivity. And I will tell you all about this as we go along. As you come in, please do write your name and where you're from in the chat box below this image. And so I can find out where you're from and I can welcome you. That'd be great. That's how I will be able to keep a pulse of things. We've got a few people coming in. Hey. Do put your name then in that comment box if you could, so we know where you're from. There is a 30-second delay, I believe, between when you write and when I actually see it. So if it takes me a couple minutes to answer any questions, just give me a moment. That's how it works on Google Hangouts. It's kind of a trip. So we're just going to jump into things. As you can see, we are going to be talking on the topic of how to create a team building event that everyone will love and which won't break your budget. And yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm glad you joined me. For those who are new, I'm coming to you from San Francisco, or actually about an hour north of San Francisco in beautiful and sunny Windsor, California, near Santa Rosa in the wine country. This is where Dr. Clue headquarters is, and I'm going to tell you about a lot of stuff about my company and about what we do, but primarily I'm here to serve you and to talk about team building, how you can do it on a shoestring, because it is possible, and you can have a great event, and you don't have to hire people like me unless you are too busy. So because what I do is puzzle based, I'm going to start with a puzzle. How about that? I don't think there's any other webinars out there that start with puzzles, but that's what we're going to do. So here it is, folks. Check it out. Actually, you can't check it out, but now you can check it out. But boom, here it is. So if you can possibly solve this, type it in. This is an anagram puzzle. All I'm asking is that you type in the answer to the puzzle. Let's see if we have anyone who can figure it out. I'll give you a minute. It's kind of tricky. We don't have any comments. You're puzzling over this, or maybe your attention is distracted. All right, I can give you another minute. There will be 2 more puzzles during this webinar, and I would love for you guys to solve them, because puzzles are totally awesome. Puzzles allow people to, of course, they allow people to use their lateral thinking, but they're also different people step forward for different puzzles. If you were doing one of my programs, the person who can do this puzzle may not be able to do a different puzzle. So it allows you to leverage the diverse skills and knowledge of people. And it allows you to see what people are good at. Because that's really the purpose of team building, isn't it? That's why we use puzzles, is you get to see who is good at something, and you get to see how people's minds think. And they get to see what you're good at and how your mind thinks. And so it lowers the water level. All right. I don't think anyone has written in the chat box. I'm not sure if the chat box is even working. So I'm going to give you the answer to this puzzle. It is an anagram. You anagram each one, and it comes out to, it is amazing how much you can accomplish when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. There you go. It's amazing how much you can accomplish when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. Cool. All right. So why am I here talking today, and why am I sharing this information with you? Right? That's the question. Why am I sharing this with you? Well, I've been in team building for 20 years. I love the work. I believe people work happier and harder when they're part of a close team where they know, like, and respect their coworkers, right? I really do. I think that when you feel connected, when you feel that you know people, when they feel that they know you and they care about you, that you work better and harder and more productively. And that's what we're here for. And that's why we've been doing team building. Now, team building, as I define it, is a group event away from your desk that brings people closer and enhances their productivity. And there it is. Again, I'll repeat that. Team building is defined as a group event away from your desk that brings people closer and enhances their productivity. And it's one part of the puzzle about creating an engaged workforce, right? And there's other pieces. It's if you want people to be engaged, whatever that means, there's a lot of different pieces, right? There's communication from management, taking an interest in people's career paths, letting them know exactly where they fit in, expressing appreciation, letting them have power to influence decisions. All those things are really important for engagement. But there's something special about open communication from management. There's something special about social interaction outside of work. It breaks down boundaries. It really pulls people together when you get people away from things. Cool. So I'm going to just keep on going. We actually just had a new person. I'm not going to be able to get them on there. Just a little bit late. We did have a new person sign up, and I'm not. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to go back to the puzzle here for a second, because I want to make sure this person gets on. So give me a moment. Keep on working on that puzzle and see if you see the puzzle as I see it. All right, because I have a new person, and I'm going to make sure that they get on. All right. We have actually 2 people that are trying to get onto the webinar. I need to send them the link. Let's see. Still working on that puzzle, right? Good deal. Definitely want you to do that. It's a good one. I have a lot of puzzles. This is one of my favorites, these anagram puzzles. All right. And I've just about gotten 2 more people onto this call. 2 more lucky people who are going to learn lots about team building today. All right, it's off. All right, let's go on back. Let's hop on back to where we are. And there we are. Awesome. So as I was saying, folks, why am I sharing this with you? Engagement matters, right? Team engagement, team building, it matters. 30% of the people, here, let's just flip over so you can see me. Yay. So 30% of people are engaged in the workplace. This is according to a Gallup poll. 30% of the people are engaged, and that means that they are really, really feeling passionate about the work. 50% of people are not engaged. They are just showing up, checking in. These are the stats, okay? 50% of people are not engaged. They're just showing up and punching the clock. And then get this, 20% of people are actively disengaged. They are undermining everything actively, right? You know the people, right? They're trying to bring people down. They're stealing office supplies. So it really does matter. You know, according to the same poll, a disengaged person costs you $2,200 per year. It's probably more, but at least that's what they said, $2,200 for people who are actively disengaged, which is crazy, right? And imagine if you had 100 people times 2,200. When people are engaged, there are 25% fewer accidents. When people are engaged, there's 25% less spent on healthcare. So it matters, and team building, offsite team building, is a piece of the engagement puzzle, as I was talking about. Now, I'm guessing you're here because you feel the same way, right? That team building is important. And, you know, a lot of people, you're on this webinar because you don't have the budget, you don't have the time, but particularly you don't have the budget. And that's why we're here. And it pains me that people aren't able to do team building because they don't have the time or the money, right? Because I really see it's important. I have seen people who have cried during a program because it touched them, that they were recognized and acknowledged. I had one person who was an extreme introvert, and the poor guy, we did an exercise where we appreciated introverts and recognized our contributions, and he was crying. He's like, no one ever recognizes in an extroverted world, no one ever recognizes the contributions of people who are quiet. And that happened during a team building program, right? I've seen people completely turn around their attitude. They realized that they needed to be more positive, and they took that back to the workplace, creating a family feeling, right? So I want you to experience that, and I don't want to let money hold you back. Time as well is a question, but money doesn't need to hold you back. The simplest things can be a great team building. So we're going to talk about that some more. Honestly, when I first started out, my programs were not very good. They sucked, okay? They were really bad. I didn't have a coherent structure. People were confused. I didn't make it relevant. I was a perfectionist, which is really going to do you in, as we all know, right? It took weeks and weeks for me to create each program because I was being such a perfectionist. So you got to let all that go, right? It can get better over time. So I want to help you to avoid making the same mistakes. And I want to show you how to, if you're feeling stressed and pressed for time, that you can put together a great team event that's quick and easy, and which everyone loves. My own very, very, very brief, quick story is that I've been doing this business for 20 years. It's called Dr. Clue. And we put on team building events, primarily treasure hunts and corporate social responsibility. And I started it in 1995 because I love working with groups, puzzles, and writing, and I love travel. And so I created this business because I wanted to do my favorite things every day, and I didn't want to be in a cubicle, and I wanted to be out exploring, showing people the hidden treasures of the world, and also to be connecting people and building relationships. And so I started this business, and it's gone pretty well. It's been a lot of fun, and we have a great staff. One of the people attending right now is one of my facilitators, Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda. So here we go. Let's keep on going. So today's event. Let's pop this on here. What we're going to do today is we're going to include the #1 mistake that you are probably making in your team building planning that could be costing you hundreds of hours and hundreds of dollars. And really, it comes down to diagnosing the situation, right? That's the big mistake. You don't diagnose the people and the situation. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about how you can create an event that exactly fits your team and how they operate, right? A square peg does not fit a round hole and vice versa. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you can make sure your program is in context to team issues and on budget. And we're going to make sure everything feels relevant and that appropriate insights are likely to occur, right? Appropriate insights are likely to occur. If you do an event that doesn't feel relevant, people check out. And not every team building has to be a learning event. We'll talk about that. But if you want people to learn something, you got to plan for it, or otherwise it won't just suddenly happen, as we know, right? And we're going to try and ensure that the program builds on itself to a satisfying crescendo. This is important. You don't want to have an event that it's the same at the beginning, it's the same at the middle, it's the same at the end. If you went to a play or a musical and it didn't build to something special, you get bored, right? You know, the first act was good and the second act was the same. You want it to build. And that's what we're doing with a really successful team building program. The goal today is so you can spend less time reinventing the wheel, the team building event wheel, and more time actually doing your job, right? That's pretty much it. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I hope you will really get something great out of this. That's my point. Is I'm doing this I'm doing it for me too. I love teaching. I don't have enough opportunities to teach, but I'm doing it for you, right? We really want to be creating a win-win here. So let's continue. Now, at the end, I want to teach you the one trick that will turn a good team building event into a great one, all in 5 minutes. Yep, the one trick. So stick around to the end so you get that little final nugget. It might be, you know, when they teach you to do webinars, they say, always leave the best for last, which is part of the crescendo, right? So, and I'll give you a little special offer on where you can go for more team building resources, right? Because you know, when you leave here, I gotta give you a parting gift, right? So we'll do that. So who here would like to know how to create a team building event that everyone will love and which won't break your budget? If you're yes, please write yes in the Facebook chat box underneath this video. Let's get a yes. Let's see if we can get a few yeses here. It's possible the Facebook comment box is not working because well, you know, it might just need a refresh. I'm figuring this tech out as I go along. And yeah, I think it does appear to be working, but I'm not, people are not jumping in. Well, ooh, there's 8 comments. Oh yeah, there are. I just wasn't looking correct. Hey, cool. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Roger. Good to have you guys. All right, let's continue going on here. So what has this planning process done for me? Well, you know, like I said, my events used to be haphazard. I didn't really have a structure. I'd present a game, usually a treasure hunt, which is the canvas I paint with, and I'd make it really competitive. I'd give prizes to the winners, and I would walk away and no learning happened, right? I just presented the game and I walked away. So that's not really going to cut it. And I didn't know much about the participants or the leadership goals. Early on, for example, I led a program with an emphasis on efficiency and decision making, and you know, it seemed like a great idea, right? You know, I really thought that, you know, that's what people wanted. What happened was this program was for my client and their spouses. So you have, you know, and some of them are male spouses, female spouses, and they don't care about productivity, decision making, and efficiency. They were there to have fun, and I'm talking to them about business, and they are not even part of the business. So you don't know the people, and they completely checked out, and they're writing evaluations later saying, you know, we didn't care about, you know, your work issues. So you got to know the people, and that's something I learned the hard way. And you know, I'm sure if you've been doing team building for a while, you've learned it the hard way too. Um, so the process I'm going to teach you today real quickly is going to really, I think it's revolutionized my programs. I think it's going to revolutionize yours. I do get regular testimonials like this. It's a long one. I'll read it quick. Before hiring you, there seemed to be, ooh, I got to click it over. Before hiring you, there seemed to be a little disconnect. Some new employees were not real close-knit like we wanted. We were trying to bring people together and create more of a company team rather than individual departments. The event with Dr. Cool helped us to get to know each other on a personal level and bring us together in a way where we all were equal in terms of being human beings and seeing that some of us had strengths and weaknesses in other areas other than our jobs. Immediately after our event, the morale was better as far as people feeling good about the company and each other. It seemed to lighten our load. Everybody was quite happy there in terms of feeling good about each other in the work environment. Pretty cool, right? You're going to get this kind of comment all the time when you follow the process I'm going to teach you, right? Absolutely. So why is it so hard to get these results? That's a big question. Why is it so hard to get these results? Well, you answer me. People are busy, and that includes you. It includes me. We're all real busy. Strangely enough, we have this other thing called a job, right? We have this thing called a job, and we're supposed to be doing it. And then someone says, oh, and by the way, you need to plan a team building event. And it's either you as a manager or you as an assistant, but someone says, you got to do this in addition to your other work. And that's hard because you don't have an idea. You're not trained to do this, and you're real busy. And this is going to make you busier. People are skeptical, right? And I'm not just talking about you and me. I'm talking about participants. They come in and they have had bad experience before, sad to say, with team building. They think it's going to be touchy-feely. They think it's going to be hokey, and they're skeptical, right? And so, and this happens all the time, right? And, you know, yeah, exactly. People are really diverse as well. It's a big one. You've got introverts and extroverts, active people versus sedentary people. You've got millennials and boomers. And that's a lot to take into account when you're trying to do a program. How do you make everyone happy? That's not easy. And that's why a lot of programs fail, is you haven't thought this out and you haven't figured out an activity that will touch on the people who are taking part. And sometimes you've got a very homogeneous group, mostly not, as we know. So what's the solution? Well, what I propose is a 5-step process that can transform any activity into a great team building. Seriously, a poker tournament can be a great team building if it's done right, right? Yes. All right, I promised you a puzzle. Here's the next puzzle. We had a puzzle earlier. Here's puzzle number 2. Let's see if you can figure out what this is all about. This is a rebus puzzle. You have to put things together. So the second part of this quote about team building is it takes a whole orchestra to play. Let's see if you can figure out what is the actual puzzle. I'll give you a minute or two. It's pretty easy. This is the kind of work that we do. If you get it, feel free to write in the box, the Facebook box. I would love to see who could be the first one to come up with this. And bear in mind, it's going to take me about 30 seconds. Well, I haven't got any answers yet. It could just be the delay. So I'm going to read it to you. Here we go. No one can whistle a 6 minus the x sim phone eel minus L is E. No one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play. Right? There it is. Nobody can be a lone wolf, the solo cowboy. No one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play. This kind of stuff. I love puzzles. I hope you enjoy them and indulge me. There'll be another puzzle towards the end, and we'll see how that goes. But I like to intersperse those because that's what we do. I think the power of puzzles is just amazing. So let's continue, folks. I talked about diagnosing the situation, and I think this is really important. Why are we doing the team building? Is it a celebration? Is it a reward? Is it an intervention? People often say, well, we don't have enough time. But what does that mean, right? You need to diagnose what people are saying and why they're coming, but you really need to understand what they need. So diagnose the situation. What's the gap that people are getting at? Are they saying that there's not enough communication? There's not enough cross-team collaboration. There's too much siloing. There's too much bickering. There's too much gossip. What is going on in your team that a team building event would help with, right? It could be that everything is fine. Everything is good. Everything is, you're just here to celebrate. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with just having a team building as a celebration if that's what's going on. But the chances are we all do things because we want pleasure and because we want to reduce pain, right? Absolutely. So if someone says we need a team building, it could be just because you need to blow off steam because it's been a very stressful time. Good to know that, diagnose that. It may be that you have something going on in your office that needs to be worked on, right? Communication, cross-team collaboration, trust, and maybe there's too much drama, and you can actually use a team building event to work on this stuff. There's an assumption in the team building world that it's just entertainment, right? It's just a drinking game, and that can be appropriate if that's what you guys need. But more often than not, there's something underlying that needs to be diagnosed. That there's some gap between where the group is and where you'd like them to be, and we don't really have automatically have high performing teams, and so someone usually calls for a team building when there's something that needs to be worked on, right? So you need to diagnose the situation. And why diagnosis is the key, as I'm saying, is aspirin doesn't treat all ills. One size does not fit all, and that's what's going on. Number 2, go back to it. Assess the temperament. Right. You need to plan according to the culture. It can be hard to generalize, but some commonalities do apply. Some groups are active and others are not. Some groups have long attention spans and others have short. Some are competitive and some are relationship oriented. Some people like to build, others are more creative. Some are extroverted, others are more cerebral. All right? So it can be hard to generalize, but you really need to assess the temperament of the group, right? And then really fit the group, fit the program to their temperament. So as I was saying, if you've got an active group, you probably want to do something where they're out doing corporate Olympics or whatever it is because they're an active group, and it's a sporting goods shop and everyone there is doing some extreme sport. Then it's not going to make sense to have a chess tournament, obviously. If you've got a group that has a short attention span, you want to have them moving and being active, and you're not necessarily sitting and doing puzzles like our event. If people are really competitive, you make it competitive. Unless, of course, they're too competitive and they cross the line and you want to try and tone things down. If people are really relationship oriented, then you want to minimize the competition and emphasize giving people an opportunity to really connect and bond. If some people are more engineering types, you give them something to build. And if they're not, maybe you give them something creative to do. You assess the temperament of the group, whether they're extroverted, introverted, and so on, and the event will go better. So that's really crucial. So you want to plan according to the culture, and you want to tap into the temperament. Number 3, fit the program to the circumstances and to the budget. It's a big one, right? As we talked about before, what are the circumstances? What's going on in your industry? What's going on for the company at the moment, right? What's going on, more widely in the economy, right? If there's been a lot of layoffs, then that is something you take into account when you're doing your team building. If you've had a booming quarter or two and you want to celebrate, that's great. If you've got minimal budget, obviously you have to have a minimal event. And that doesn't matter. I mean, it can be great if you're planning it according to the people and the temperament. In this case, you have to know what's going on. If there's been a merger recently, you're going to have 2 different individual cultures coming together. Then you want to have a bonding event that allows people to get to know each other. Is there cost cutting? Are you celebrating successes? And so on. So fit that program to the circumstances and to the budget. This is no-brainer stuff. What's going on with the team? What's going on with the organization? How does that affect the budget? The takeaway is you want to create within the business context. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Number 4 in my process is clarify the learning points. And this is a biggie. What do you want to learn? What do you want people to learn? And let's just be, as I said before, not every event has to be a learning event. You could just present it as an activity and people will get out of it what they get out of it. However, I think generally speaking, when you initiate a team building, it's because you want people to learn something. And if leadership gives, if you're trying to give people a lot of decisions, then and work on your leadership skills and decision making, maybe you front load it with a lot of content and then say, okay, let's go work on that content during the team building. So you front load it. And that would be one way to do it. The other way is you present it as an experiential activity and then people learn in the debrief. So it's up to you on whether it's front loaded with learning and information and content or if that comes on the back end. If you had a group that was focused, if the learning point was cross-team collaboration, maybe you set it up as a competition, but have moments where people have to work together. This is something we do in our team building all the time, right? It's something I love doing, and Rhonda, who's one of my facilitators, knows about this as well, is we might have something in a treasure hunt where there is a clue that you can't solve alone. You have to solve with another team. And you don't, and this is not spelled out by the facilitator, but you slowly figure it out. And it's a great point that even in a competition, in the most dire competition, it's set up that way. There are opportunities to collaborate. So that's a learning point that you know in advance, and you embed it into the program to get that learning point across during the debrief. And it's kind of a surprise. It's a wow moment. If your learning point was we need more work on delegation because people are hoarding information or they're just trying to do it all alone because they're that type of people, then you create an event that has a lot of different skill sets required. Again, in our programs, there's a person who's good at word puzzles, a person who's good at logic puzzles, there's a person who's good at trivia and knows everything about sports trivia or movie trivia and so on. And so you want to actually be able to create an event that has a lot of different skill sets required, and delegation is necessary. And you know this, you set the event up that way. That's what I'm saying is being intentional about how you want to do this will get the content out there. And it sounds kind of intuitive, but so many people don't do this. They aren't thinking in their mind, what's the learning point? How can we structure it so the learning point comes through either front loaded or at the end? But it's important. Everything is an opportunity for learning. Everything is an opportunity for learning. And I really think that's the power of team building. Sometimes, even though you have a learning point in mind, something happens during the event that becomes a learning point. And so as a facilitator of this event, you're always looking for the nuggets that people can harvest as an opportunity. So you never know. So, things come up during the program that you never thought would come up, and they're just great. And all of a sudden, you go spinning off in another circle. For example, I had a group just recently where I thought the learning point was just to get to know each other and to bond. But what happened was that someone stepped up that had never taken leadership before, never. But they stepped up and they took leadership in the program in a way that really surprised people. Somebody else on the team who everyone thought was very quiet and reserved suddenly was this buoyant, fun, energetic person. And so, what people learned about other people became an unexpected opportunity. And they ended up with that one person who took the lead. They fast-tracked that person towards leadership because they discovered this person had initiative that they really didn't know about. So how cool is that, right? So everything is an opportunity for learning. Number 5 is you want to structure towards a crescendo. So you want things to build. You want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I learned this when I was in Japan. Yeah. I don't know, those of you who know me, I spent a few years in Japan teaching English. I was in a junior high school. And here's what happens in a Japanese junior high school. Somebody at the beginning of class says, "Attention," and everybody stands up. I'm not going to stand up right now. Everyone stands up and says, "Attention." They all bow to their teacher and they sit down. And that is the opening ceremony of every class. At the end, the same monitor says, "Attention." They all stand up and then they all bow and then the class is over. Beginning, middle, and end. It's not necessarily a crescendo, but you do want your programs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I think usually the way it should work is the beginning is the intro, the explanation, and then you move on, maybe some icebreakers. Then you move on and the rules, and then you move on to the middle, which is the content, the main activity, which could be team cooking, or it could be a treasure hunt, or it could be river rafting, or your poker game, whatever it is. Could be bowling, could be miniature golf, whatever it is. You have the main activity embedded with structure and content, and then it finishes with a conclusion, which is usually something along the lines of the contest. You'll have the reading of the answers, and so on. But really what you want is a beginning, middle, end, but building until a fantastic crescendo. All right? And then you want to have a debrief where you, if you're learning oriented on this, a debrief on where it's all going. Go for the wow moment. Now, this is a good one, right? And it's so often neglected. My facilitator, Franco Beneducci, here in San Francisco, used to talk about what is the great reveal? What is that great moment that wows people? Now, I'll give you a little glimpse of this. We have a program where we have people build bicycles, and they play a treasure hunt game, earning parts of the bicycle. At the end, they put the bicycle together and they donate it to charity. That's a great event. But the crescendo is that at the end, all of the kids come in and receive the bicycles. Disadvantaged population, disadvantaged demographic, they come in. Nobody knows that the kids are going to come in, and they come in and they receive their bicycles. And it is a wow moment. You've been working hard and you've been putting a bicycle together. You had no idea you were going to get a chance to meet the recipients. And it's so cool. That's a wow moment. Sometimes a wow moment in these, like in the treasure hunts, is where people realize that they had to work with other teams, or that all the teams had to work together. I remember there was a great episode of a TV show called The Paper Chase, if any of you remember that, where Professor Kingsfield gives this big legal assignment, and they're all working hard and competing, and then somebody says, "What? I think that he wants us to work together." And they're like, no, it can't be. But he says, yeah, it's impossible for anyone to complete this project, in a lifetime, let alone in 1 week. And they all end up working together, and they ask Kingsfield, "Is this what you were looking for?" And he just sort of arches one eyebrow and says, "Thank you, class," and it's over. And he never lets on, but everyone knows it. And I think this is really key. So that's a wow moment when you realize that. So you want to have that great reveal, that wow moment, the kids coming in, the great insight that blows people away, and it's really worth being intentional about it in your design, right? So events are a 3-act play with a crescendo. So who here is ready to plan your next kick-ass, I'm going to say it, I said ass, kick-ass team building event? Raise your hand metaphorically, write yes in the box if you are ready. So let's give a little summary, okay? Planning a well-structured team building event is not easy. I'll put this slide on because I think it's cool. Planning a well-structured team building event is hard. You're busy. You're lacking resources. People are skeptical. You know what? It's worth it. Team building events can change people's lives. They can change your worldview. They can boost morale and engagement. They can teach valuable skills. The trick is knowing the people, knowing the situation, knowing the learning points, and structuring it to a crescendo. In a moment, I'm going to make you an offer as my way of saying thank you, saying thanks to you. But first, I promised you one trick, actually 2 tricks, that are going to turn a good team building event into a great one. And that is a great opener and a great closer. And so I'm going to teach you 2 team building games that we use in our programs all the time. And you can use these and they will really, really help every program you do. So the first one is called The Story of Your Name. Dave Blum here. My name is David Ross Blum. David is a biblical name. King David, son of King Solomon, I think. Dave is my more common name. Ross is named after my paternal grandma, whose name was Rose. My last name is Blum, which means to bloom in German. David Ross Blum. My nickname, I never actually had a nickname, but I should have been nicknamed Victor. And the reason for that is that, as I understand the story, my grandma, my mom's mom, agreed that my mom and her would accept a very nice baby present if I was named after a cousin's father, Victor. So my grandma, on my mom's behalf, took the present, and then my mom named me David anyway. Yes, it's true. So I should have been named Victor, and I always imagined that if they ever came over, we would have to put "Happy Birthday, Victor" on banners, and we'd have to hide all my bowling trophies. So that's the story of my name. And what I invite people to do is to tell the story of their name in their teams. Teams of about 5 people. What do you know about your name? Your first name, your middle name, your last name. Does your name have a meaning, as it often does in Asian countries? And is there did your name change at Ellis Island? The story of your name for 1 minute. It takes 5 minutes. It's a great icebreaker, and it accomplishes what's so important, which is gets people out of their work mode, thinking about the story of people, right? It's cool. The last one is called Spotlight Appreciation. I think I had that up here before. Yeah, Spotlight Appreciation. Here's how this one works. All that you do for Spotlight Appreciation is in your team, you have each person in the spotlight for a minute. This is after the program is done, right towards the end, and say, listen, I want you to get feedback from your teammates about what you contributed. And so you'll say, okay, whoever has the shortest hair, which would probably be me on the team, whoever has the shortest hair, you're first. You're in the spotlight. For 1 minute or 30 seconds, you will receive appreciative feedback from your teammates. Anything that you contributed during the team building program today, you will receive it. And you're not going to say anything. You're not going to say, no, that's not true. You're just going to sit silently. And the most you're going to say is, tell me more. And that's it. Spotlight appreciation. Then you go on to the next person clockwise around the group. And in 2.5 to 5 minutes, everybody has received appreciation and feedback, and they feel great because people don't get enough appreciation. They feel great. Thank you so much for saying that. They've been recognized. They've been noticed. People have seen their contribution, and the other people had the opportunity to give appreciation, which is also very empowering and very connecting when you give appreciation to people. So it's a great activity, and it will really turn around your programs so that they're more than just a drinking game if that's what you're going for. It's really going to cement those relationships and build camaraderie and rapport, which is what these programs are about. So let's see. I've been racing along. I hope I haven't been going too fast for you. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you need to do this alone. Remember what I said about you can't whistle a symphony. Yeah, you do not have to do this alone. You can partner up with your teammates. There are great resources online. You can call me. You don't have to do this alone. Remember, you weren't hired to be an event planner. There are resources that are out there. And I'm not going to go to this website, but I want to emphasize this particular one right here, which is called Discovery Education Puzzle Maker. Now, if you like puzzles as much as I do, you're going to love this one. It is a puzzle making program, and maybe I'll even type this into the box a little bit later if you haven't written it down yet. But it is a puzzle making program online where you can quickly make word searches like nothing faster. I can't think of a good metaphor. It is great. The Discovery Engine Puzzle Maker, you can make a hidden message puzzle word search. You can make a drop-down puzzle. There's cryptograms and so on, and it all does it for you. I use this one all the time, and you could use it as an icebreaker. Puzzles are great for icebreakers. You could use it during the activity, and it is free, and it's been there for at least 10, 15 years. It's been there forever. It's a great resource, super duper quick. And there's a lot of other things out there. I have a newsletter, which I do, which I have a puzzle every single week, and I certainly invite you to do my to sign up for my newsletter. And I use resources online all the time. I wish I could say that I was clever enough to do everything myself, but I cheat and I borrow, which is what everyone does. It's the most sincere form of flattery. Dr. Clue is here to help, and I do have a special offer. If you would like some help on planning your next team building event, I will do a 30-minute phone brainstorming session with you. 30-minute phone brainstorming session. And as part of that, you also get a 15% discount on any of our 9 pre-made team building programs. So if you decide you can't do it yourself, you don't want to do it yourself, you're too busy, and you want to do something that we do, you get a discount. But no matter what, you get a 30-minute phone brainstorming session, and I will share with you everything I know, because my priority is you get what you need, whether it's with me or it's for people who really care about delivering great results and great events. It's for people who want the very best for their team. And it's for people who are ready to kick some team building ass. Oh, I said ass again. I'm sorry. It's normally a $400 deal. I'm doing it for 57 bucks. And all you have to do is go to this web address, drclue.com, checkout, and you just sign up. And then once I get your sign up, we will arrange a time to do this. I'll go ahead and type this in the chat box in a second. But that is what I'm offering today, and I would love to have you do this. I think you'll get a lot out of it. Finally, I've got a little bonus for you. I've created an audio it's called Beyond Gridlock, Dr. Clue's Guide to Accelerated Team Buy-In, right? And it's really about what is buy-in, what it is and what it isn't, the questions leaders commonly ask about buy-in and what they should be asking, what is engagement and why it's important, the 5 levels of attitude, the 5 ways to win and lose trust, and how to create a movement for change. All of this is about having teams where people are passionately bought in to new initiatives, even in time of extreme change. It's a 30-minute audio, which you can access and listen to on my website, or you can download it from this particular address. So I will at the end type these into the chat box so you have them when the slideshow is done. Got a final puzzle for you guys. Let's see who can be the first person to get this final puzzle. And I'll give you a hint. It's alphanumeric. Let's see if anybody can do it. It's not so hard, but I think you can do it. I see we have Rhonda from, I know where Rhonda's from. Rhonda's from Raleigh. She's from Charlotte, North Carolina. We've got Roberta. I'm not sure where Roberta's from. We've got Leslie. We've got Roger DeVoe. And we've got a few other people on here as well. And some people from last week. Can anyone come up with this puzzle? Type it into the box below. I want to see who can be the first person to solve this puzzle. Again, I have a 30-second delay, so you may already be there. And I do not have any takers as of yet. I know you can do it. A couple more minutes, another minute, then we're going to move on and wrap this up. All right, I'm going to hit one more refresh to see if we have any takers. Oh, you might have someone. And Leslie Gernon says, get a clue. That is correct. It's alphanumeric. The seventh letter of the alphabet is a G. It is get a clue. Congratulations, Leslie. Yay. Fantastic, Leslie. Thank you so much. Very cool. Awesomeness, guys. All right, we're just about done. It's about 10 minutes on the hour. If you have any questions, please ask them now. Let's see if we have any questions. While you are thinking about questions, I'm going to go back a little ways and type in some of these links so you have them. Okay. There's my Beyond Gridlock. Here is where you want to go if you want to take advantage of my offer. I'm working on that. And here is writing in the Discovery Education link because I really like that one. Free puzzle maker. All right, I think that's got it. Ba-boom. All right, let's see. If there are any questions. If not, we will wrap things up. We have a few comments. And nope, they're just for me. Doesn't look like we got the last. Oh, one more. Yeah, that's just for me. All right, doesn't look like there are any more questions. And that is A-OK. You have my contact information. And just put that on for a second. There it is. You can reach me at that number. You've got my website. I am here to help whatever I can do to help you create a fantastic team building event. It's been a pleasure spending some time with you. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. It is not, I do not assume that that your time is anything other than precious. So that it's really it touches my heart that you are interested in listening to me, and also that you're interested in developing your team. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, send me an email. And of course, please do take me up on my offer of 30 minutes of free time brainstorming your next event. All right? That's actually not free time, but you know what I mean. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm gonna pop off now. Actually, no, I'll tell you what, I'll just sit here for a couple minutes if you have any more questions. But it's been a pleasure. Thanks. Thank you, Leslie, uh, for your comment. I hope it was useful. It was really a lot of fun, and appreciate that. All right, folks. I think since there are no more questions, I'm going to hop off. Any way I can help, I wish you forward. There are endings and there are beginnings, right? Everything that ends is also a beginning. So this webinar ends. The beginning of your team building future begins today. And I wish you the very best. Thanks so much, and catch me next time. I may be doing another one next week. I'm going to try and pull together something perhaps on employee engagement, which I think is a hot topic, and people are a little bit unclear of how to create it. It's not just team building, right? Okay, folks, gonna hop off. Been great. Catch you next time. Bye.